Red FM.
Having lost the final the previous year and stuff like that as well, I suppose. I mean, we were probably coming in a bit more experienced into the game in '89 than Sars were as well, you know. So we had a lot of experience in the team as well, and yeah, it was hit for fat for long periods of time. But I suppose when you have the likes of John Fitzgibbon in your team, and you had Johnny Buckleys and Kieran McGuckins of this world, right? We had a lot of guys who had inter-county experience with Cork, you know, and I think that kind of stood to us on big match day, particularly in that county final. We had some serious performance from these guys, and it was probably just fitting for them, I suppose, and for all of us within the Glen. After losing the year before, we tried so hard, you know. It was a long time back then in '89 since '76 since we had won previously, you know. So it was just an amazing feeling to get a victory, and hopefully something like that can be repeated again on Sunday.
Yeah, and you named some of the guys that were on that team as well in '89, Tomás, and of course the fact that you lost the final the previous year. But when you look back now, is it a regret that maybe you didn't win a few more because that was your only county title?
Yeah, I suppose it was a regret. There's no doubt about that. And I think when we won in '89, we were out. I think maybe again the following week in the Munster Club Championship, and the celebrations went on too much above in Glen Rovers to take the Munster Club Championship seriously. And when you look back at it now, probably that is a regret as well, you know, because it has turned out to be a fantastic competition, you know. And like you win your county championship, then you're going representing your county into a Munster Club scene, and then after that into an All-Ireland series, and that has grown and grown over the years. And we see St Patrick's Day now has become synonymous with All-Ireland Club finals, you know, and we never went down that road, or never maybe kind of took it serious enough. And I suppose after that, yeah, we certainly we were back in the final again. I think it was 91, was it 91 or 92? We were back in the final against Middleton as well, and with basically the same team, and we didn't do justice to ourselves on the day. Middleton won the match fair and square, you know. So after that, there'd been a couple of semi-finals, and there'd been lean years and stuff like that. But the effort never went from Glen Rovers to trying to win the county championship, and I think that is the key, you know. We've kept trying. We've kept trying to keep the flag flowing, because like the tradition that is in the club, the history that's there, the heritage that's there. I mean, we were just all part of it, and we're just trying to follow. Everybody was trying to follow in the footsteps of all the great players that were there before, and I'm sure this team is exactly the same as well. It's probably too long for a club like Glen Rovers to be without county championships, but they're not handed out. You got to go and win them, you know, and we can't have any sympathy on ourselves realistically, right? I mean, it's about performance, and it's about performance on a given day, and unfortunately for over the last number of years, we haven't done that. Maybe in a few occasions, but you've got to make your own luck as well, you know. So we're hoping for a change of fortune at the weekend, 21 years on. Hopefully the same victory can be repeated.
Yeah, and that victory in '89, Tomás, it obviously meant that you went on to captain Cork in 1990, and that All-Ireland win, which was, I'm sure, the highlight of your career. But captaining the Glen to county title victory, I'm sure that ranks up there with the best moments in your career.
Absolutely, it was an amazing feeling, because I mean, I suppose that's where you grow up realistically. I mean, you're in your street leagues at 7 or 8 years of age in Blackpool, and you're playing at underage level at Crail na Gael, and right up to under 16 to minor. And when you come out of a minor career, all you want to do is actually play senior hurling with Glen Rovers. And as captain, I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to be picked to captain the Glen back then, right? But also to play with some great players, and it's about the older members within the club as well who've kept the place going, who've through thick and thin, you know, difficult times finance-wise and stuff like that, who've put the shoulder to the wheel and kept the club afloat. And you know, success is everything. And I remember back in 1989, you know, after the victory, and you know the joy that's on people's faces, and you know, all around Blackpool afterwards for a couple of weeks afterwards, it just gave a serious lift to people. And I can also remember going to up to the Christie Ring Bridge, and there to greet us on the bridge that night when we came out through Blackpool, and an open top bus was none other than Jack Lynch, you know. And I mean, I still have photographs at home of that. Like, and I mean, that's a very, very proud moment as well, you know, to meet that caliber of man, to be there present to wish us well on our journey to Blackpool. I mean, they're massive highlights. They're things that you can never forget. And when you have it within your own parish and with the guys that you played with for years, I mean, it just makes it so important, you know. And everybody knows about the limelight playing with Cork and the county scene, but anybody that's been involved with the club and the work that goes in there, and it's just the amount of enjoyment that it brings to guys in a local area. You can't put that word into words, you know. So I mean, we've missed that, definitely. There's no doubt about that, you know. So, hopefully the match on Sunday, it's a difficult match, definitely, there's no doubt about that, but these guys have been through a lot already this year. They've been through ups and downs, getting the hammering they did against the Pierces. They've come back, they've regathered, and they've played some very, very good hurling to reach a county final. So it's all systems going on at this stage.
Yeah, and of course you know this group of Glen Rovers players very well, Tomás, having been in charge of the team in recent years. And given the underage success of Glen Rovers in the last 10 years or so, and the fact that the Glen have been getting to the latter stages of the championship on a regular enough basis as well, I'm sure it's no surprise to you to see them in a county final, because they have had that underage success. Guys like Donald Cronin and David Cunningham, they would have been part of quite successful underage teams.
Yeah, the key here, I suppose, you're right, that a lot of these lads have won minor county championships. Like, some guys have won 2 minor counties, some guys have won under 21 counties as well, and sometimes you expect an awful lot from the younger guys, and when they're involved in under 21, it can be a bit of a distraction on the basis where they have an awful lot on their plate trying to keep the club happy, or if they're involved in the county scene at under 21 level and stuff like that, So you're seeing a lot of these guys coming to a much more mature age now. They're out of the under 21 grade and stuff like that. So I think the Glen are seeing the benefit of that as well. And there's a good balance of experienced guys. There's a good balance of youth. And to be fair to the current selectors as well, they haven't been afraid to give all the younger guys the opportunity as well. So and that is the key as well, is getting the balance right. Getting the mixture between the experience and the younger guys. Yeah, at times this year, there's no doubt the Glen have been lucky maybe to get a draw and stuff like that, but they never gave up. They kept fighting to the final whistle, and that's important in sport. It's all about playing to the final whistle. You never give up. You never give up on a chance that you might come back and get the equalising point. And sometimes this year we've seen that with Glen Rovers. It's been fantastic, So there's a great team spirit there. And I'm sure, like, these guys themselves, if it's for anybody else, it's for themselves. They need success, They put in massive efforts, and it's the same with every team that gets to a county final. The level of commitment and the level of, I suppose, the level of behaviour has to be at a certain level for guys to actually get best performance, And these guys have gone down the road this year where they seem to have made massive change in themselves, and they're going to hopefully get their just rewards by Sunday night, It's a massive occasion, county final, and it's only in the last couple of days now that you can see the excitement is generating around Glanmire, and the excitement is generating around Glen Rovers. And you look around Blackpool and you see the bunting is up and the flags are out the windows, and that brings its own pressure, but that's a great pressure to have, isn't it? There's many clubs out there would love to be in that position, but unfortunately are not, So we've got to take all that in our stride, and hopefully that they can bring on a big performance to Park Equity for Sunday evening.
Yeah, I won't keep you much longer, Tomás, but as you mentioned earlier on, it was a pretty disastrous start to the championship for the Glen. It was a 16-point defeat in the Piershig. Then, of course, there was the incident with Bright Rovers and being thrown out of the championship. How do you explain how they've managed to turn things around? Because I think regardless of the result on Sunday, it's been a great achievement for the Glen to come back and get to a final.
It's a massive achievement with what was being put up against them, being honest with you, To come back from the defeat, yeah, some teams might have folded, So they've got the opportunity through the back door. Then you had the incident with Bright Rovers, and I still feel, and a lot of Glen Rovers people would feel very hurt about the severity of the fine there. 11,000 was an awful lot of money, So certainly there was a lot of bitterness in Blackpool over that, and maybe there still is a lot of bitterness there as well, So it probably has rallied the troops. It has got their gander up. There's no doubt about that, And they're playing for a lot of pride of Blackpool, and playing for pride in the jersey themselves as well. But there's a lot of things that happened this year maybe have galvanised their season. And I suppose when they were against the Bars at one stage, they looked to be down and out, and they came back and got a massive draw, and then went on to win the replay. The same against Middleton. When things maybe looked to be going away from them again, they rallied late to get a equaliser, and were very, very strong in the replay again, So Douglas did put her up in a big way as well last weekend, and they looked comfortable at times, but left Douglas back in the game, but then again finished very strongly. So there's an awful lot of resolve. There's an awful lot of water going on the bridge already this year in Blackpool with regards to this team, So they feel rightly at this stage that they're right. They have a right. The right attitude, but also they're probably feeling with what they've gone through already this year that it's probably best that they're in the county final at this stage.